The beginning, well, there are a couple of beginnings here. The first scene, Act 1, Scene 1 of Macbeth is witches. We spoke about how James likes witches. You know who else likes witches? Everybody. Everybody likes witches. Harry Potter, witches. They sell. They appeal to the broader public. It is a universal thing. So when you say, oh, Shakespeare, he's just stuffy and all of that. No! He is a populist playwright. He is the Steven Spielberg of his day. He can go high, but he never stops maintaining his base, never stops reaching out to the popular imagination, the common folk, giving a little something for them, throwing some crumbs to the intellectuals and the snobs and the aristocrats. Here, I'll talk about some philosophy over here, or I'll throw out some really beautiful poetry over there, but at the same time, we're all just getting down and dirty with the common stuff here. Witches. And we have thunder and lightning at the very beginning. Bare stage in Shakespeare, outdoor stage, everything in here. They talk about darkness all the time in this play, but inevitably the plays were all performed on a summer afternoon, quite frankly. You go to the Globe Theater, you can look it up online. It's an open air theater. It is a bare stage with no ceiling, essentially. So the weather, the heat of the day, the sunlight of the day, that's all there. So all of the atmospheric effects, all of the special effects are for the most part imaginary, done through the words, the language of the dialogue. In this case, however, basic special effects were available, and that includes thunder and lightning. I'm not sure how they do lightning, quite frankly, during the daylight, but they can certainly do thunder, and maybe they have like flashes of gunpowder or something like that to make it look like lightning. I don't know how Shakespeare was doing this originally. Certainly, this is done differently today when you can have all sorts of special effects in the theater. But thunder and lightning, it's dramatic. It catches your attention. You're woken up from the very first beat of this play. Before anybody steps on stage, you are there. It's thrilling. And then 3 witches come and start swirling around, and they can do all sorts of cool things. And one of the reasons some scholars speculate that the play is so short on the page is that when it's on the stage, the witches get all sorts of really cool choreography, and they can go and do all sorts of things. And maybe there's music, and they can be up there dancing and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And it is thrilling. It is populist. It is popular. And you're just leaning in and getting into it. It's like, wow, yeah, this is cool. The witches. And that's what you get at the very beginning, at that slam, bang opening. And how does it end? Or how does it begin, rather? Beginnings and endings? Witch number 1 says, "When shall we 3 meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?" 3 things to consider here. Number 1, the opening line is a question. That's always important. That's always interesting. Why start with a question? Shakespeare knew a lot of sentences. He could have had a period at the end of one of them. Here he starts with a question. Why? Just stick that in the back of your head. When shall we 3 meet again? Specifically, it is a question about the future. I wonder if that's a coincidence. That's curious. But also, in thunder, lightning, or in rain. Now, the rain they really can't effectively fake on stage, so this might be them sort of covering that up. It's like, okay, yeah, well, we can all imagine the rain. But also, when shall we 3 meet again? In those 2 lines, you have the opposition of the very first line is the witches. The very second line is nature. Now, I'm not sure what sort of relationship they're going for here. Is that tight grouping, that comparison of one line to the next, saying, well, the witches are against nature. They are, by engaging in magic, they are subverting the natural order of things. You could say that, and you could build a nice little argument for that throughout. Or you could say that the witches are part of nature. Nature that is wild, nature that is dangerous, thunder, lightning, and rain, nature that is threatening. The equation of significantly female characters with nature has a long history, and the idea that men are agents of civilization, women are agents of nature, goes back quite a while. Honestly, you can make an argument from Adam and Eve. I've seen that argument made. But that's an awful lot just sort of butting up against one another in two lines. And then the other witches start to chime in a kind of chant. And you can see this as chanting around the bonfire or whatever it is that they want to have. They're going around the stage and it's being very musical. When shall we meet again? When the hurly-burly's done, the battle's lost and won. Will there be, that will be ere set of sun. Where's the place? Upon the heath, there to meet with Macbeth. So, again, right at the beginning, if you're just walking into this, and let's say you haven't read Holinshed's Chronicles, you don't know the history of medieval England far enough back that you're familiar with, or medieval Scotland, that you're familiar with this historical character of King Macbeth. Maybe the only thing you know about this play going in is it's called The Tragedy of Macbeth. All right, that's all I know. They probably don't have like nice playbills printed out that explains the backstory and who the historical Macbeth was, but you have that idea, that name in your head. So there, right there on line 7, name check, Macbeth. So, okay, I got to pay attention here. This isn't going to be like the Odyssey where you go through 4 books before really dealing with Odysseus directly at all. This is mentioning him right off the top. This is getting quickly to the topic. So I got to pay attention. Of course, he's not coming in just yet. I come, Grey Malkin, Paddock calls. These are little shout outs to popular books on witchcraft, what witches like, what they don't like, what they do, what they don't do, how do you tell a witch from a normal person, the tests involved, all of that stuff. Very popular topic throughout the 15 and 1600s. And, you know, it is a popular topic to this day. But then, significantly, all of them chime in. Now, they've been sort of like speaking back and forth at one another in a really swirly-whirly kind of way. All of them chime in. Fair is foul and foul is fair, hover through the fog and filthy air. Again, a couple things there. Fog and filthy air, it's broad daylight in the middle of a summer day. London was not known for being particularly clean then, so this is perhaps a stretch, but who knows how much. But fair is foul and foul is fair. It is a fun little rhyme. It is an inversion of language. Fair is foul is one side, and then you flip it over and foul is fair. The other side. 2 sides to the same thing. And the words themselves, the content of the meaning of the words are inversions, are opposites. Fair and foul. Foul is fair. Fair is foul. They're one and the other. There is no separating between the two. They are inseparable concepts. Kind of paradoxical, Yeah, yeah. That notion of paradox is significant here. One of the better examples of Shakespearean criticism comes from a particular book of criticism from the early 20th century, an American who writes about the value of paradox in literature, and specifically in this play, and the way the mysteries, the coincidences of language that just sort of crop up can lead you into new understandings and new appreciations of what's actually going on. Little trap doors that open up in this play where you think that everything sort of makes sense and you're going along, and then suddenly you look at it and phew, everything's different. That's what I see going on in just those first, what are we talking about, 12 lines? That short scene. Lots of drama, lots of hoo-ha, lots of smoke and mirrors and chaos and noise, but so much of what is actually being addressed throughout the broader play gets compressed into this short scene. It's like an abstract at the beginning of a term paper, quite frankly. It tells you so much about what's to come just by having this. It's an overture, to use a musical term, where it takes the various themes that pop up throughout the work that's about to begin, takes those themes and weaves them together into something distilled right at the start. So that as you're going through the experience of watching the rest of it or listening to the rest of it, you can pick out, oh, yeah, I recognize that. I was prepared for this. So that must be significant. So maybe I should just, hit the brakes for a second and think about that. Maybe I should dwell on that. What is the value of contradictions? What is the value of opposites? How are they paradoxes? And what do those paradoxes ultimately refer to here? All of those mysteries come up at this very, very, very beginning.